Hi and welcome to Ali Lives Well or Less. I'm Ali, an early retired teacher currently living well on my small teacher's pension. And today is Foodie Friday and we're going to have a chat about some food issues that are going on in the Ali household at the moment. But before I start, I just want to give a shout out to two lovely ladies that I met in Waitrose the other day. They said that they had been following my channel for a while and I forgot to ask if I could give them a name check, so I'm not going to name them. I always like to just check and make sure I've got permission for anyone that I talk about on the channel. So you know who you are, you two lovely ladies who had dropped off your wee dog for grooming and were just spending some time in Waitrose. So thank you so much for being loyal viewers, and I'm so glad that I have inspired you in some way to take your early retirement. So thank you for being my lovely viewers. I was in Waitrose the other day because I was shopping for some healthy items. I have mentioned in a previous video, and I did say in this week's Wednesday video where I'm showing you my quilt and a corset I made a few years ago. So if you haven't seen that video, go have a wee look. I did mention that I was going to give you a health update today. Now, both Luna and I have got a health issue at the moment. A few weeks ago, I did a blood test. Nothing out of the ordinary, just to check that all my levels were normal, and it has come back. Not unexpectedly, but it has come back that my cholesterol is a little higher than my doctor would like. So nothing major, certainly nothing to worry about. Everything else was absolutely spot on and fine. It's just that bad cholesterol, the LDL1 number, is higher than my doctor would like. So all I'm doing is making a few tweaks to my diet, and I'm also trying to lose a little bit of weight. So as you know, I do eat a non-processed diet. I aim for about 80 to 90% non-ultra processed foods, but the other 10 to 20% I do indulge, and I have noticed of late that I have been indulging just a little bit too much. So I am completely cutting out all those things, and I'm just making some healthy switches like normal pasta. I'm now using whole wheat pasta instead of white rice. I'm using brown rice and so on. So nothing major, just teeny tiny little tweaks. Cutting down on dairy, switching to lower fat cheese, all the normal things that your doctor tells you to do anyway if you're trying to lose weight or trying to stay healthy. So that's all I'm doing. I'm still cooking and eating the same way that I always have. As I say, I've just made a couple of wee tweaks and changes. And to that end, I treated myself with some of my bonus extra £100 for this month to a low cholesterol cookbook, and I tested one of their soup, their broth recipes, because it is getting into soup weather. Today, when I took Miss Luna out for her morning walk, it was 10 degrees. So it's definitely chilly, it's definitely getting into soup weather. So in today's video, you're going to see a couple of soups and an example of a colourful plate that I am trying to aim for more regularly. So I'm trying to up those fruits and veggies, the nuts and the seeds and the yeah. Everybody knows what they should do. We're just not very good at doing it. And I did note that there is a new Jamie Oliver programme out on Channel 4 if you have access to Channel 4 and catch up, mainly UK, but I know people outside the UK can sometimes access it. He's got a new programme called Eat Yourself Healthy. And it's based on pretty much what I'm trying to do, just increasing all your good foods and your fruit and veg, which, interesting, which I did know. the government tells us that you should eat 5 portions of fruit and veg every day. Well, in reality, it's supposed to be more like 7 to 10. So I am trying to push that up to the 7 to 10. And I have to say, I know Jamie Oliver gets stick, but I do like his recipes. They are fairly easy. Not always cheap, but I am trying. I'm trying. So have a wee look at that if you think that might be of use to you. So the other health update is that Miss Luna is too heavy. She's fat. She's a fat Labrador. And over the last wee while, I've been working with my vet and we have made a few changes to her diet and we are trying to get her weight back down because obviously she's only 2 and after she was spayed, she really piled on the weight. But the vet thinks there might be another underlying issue there. So we were at the vet this morning just for our annual checkup and she took bloods and we are checking for thyroid issues. So thank goodness I have Miss Luna insured. And I made sure I got a policy, a couple of months ago when I did it, I made sure I got a policy for ongoing conditions. So if it does turn out to be a thyroid issue, I'm covered. But yeah, another £97 today underneath that £100 mark. Someone did ask in a previous video, why didn't I claim whatever it was? Oh, it was when she was sick, wasn't it? Why didn't I claim that off my insurance? I have a £100 excess, so the first £100 you have to pay before the insurance will look at anything. So £97 again today for a blood test. So yeah, that's coming out of savings. But hey ho, that's what happens when you've got a pet. So today's video, there is a detailed soup recipe, a soup that I normally make with a couple of changes. I changed over to brown rice, my healthy lunch one day, and come back at the end and I will share with you my lunch that I'm having today. So this is sweet potato and leek broth and I have just sautéed 1 chopped leek in 2 teaspoons of oil and we'll be going for a couple of minutes. All I'm going to add now is 1 garlic clove and half a teaspoon of chopped thyme and you just let that sauté for another minute. The thyme I picked from my garden this morning. Now this is broad-leaved thyme and oh, it smells amazing, it really does. I mean, it was literally picked about 10 minutes ago. So really, once you smell the garlic, I am going to add 1 peeled and diced medium sweet potato. Now, this is not like me following the recipe exactly, so I'm just going to trust the process. Excuse the draining washing machine in the background. So all you do is stir that in and then I want to add 500 ml, half a litre of vegetable stock. Now the recipe says reduced salt stock, but then add salt and pepper. So I just have normal stock. I use my marigold stock powder and it doesn't look an awful lot of liquid. Okay, trust the process, Ali. And you just let that simmer, apparently, bring to the boil, and then simmer for 20 minutes until the potato, sweet potato, is soft. I think I'm going to add more water than this so that it can simmer. So come back in 20 minutes and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so 20 minutes later and we look like this. Now I've had a little taste and it actually tastes quite nice. Aesthetically, I should have paid more attention to how I cut the sweet potato, but that's okay. I quite like it chunky. The recipe does say you could blend half of the soup and put it back in. I might do that, but actually I quite like a chunkier soup. in the winter. And although we're still in autumn, it's definitely a warming style of soup. So it says garnish with fresh parsley and serve warm. So that is what I'm about to do. And here's the finished product. I have to say, it tastes absolutely delicious. I did add a little bit of extra water for the simmering process. I did add a little bit of salt and pepper. And yeah, really happy with this. That amount serves two servings, and it does say that the calories are 150 calories. So hopefully it fills me up, and I have one portion. I'll either keep it for tomorrow and see if it tastes better the second day, or I'm just going to freeze it. But here we go. Sweet potato and leek broth. Okay, I've just done another family favourite soup. This is chicken and rice. I had chicken stock in the freezer, so I've just used that, and I've added some brown rice, grated carrots, the other precious leek, and I had some chicken in the freezer. So I've just put the frozen chicken in the bottom of the mug, topped it up with the soup, and it's going straight into the freezer now. So that's 5 generous portions. It's quite thick, but it will thin down once it's cooked. So 5 generous portions, and I've already had one for my lunch today. So even more super soup. So this is an example of how I am trying to make my meals a little bit more healthy. So this is a sweet potato that's been air fried with a tiny bit of oil and some of my homemade fajita spice mix. I've got a smoked mackerel fillet, just mashed up a little bit. I've got some cooked beetroot with just a tiny bit of balsamic vinegar on it, some grated carrot, and some chopped up cucumber. So this healthy, colourful meal has 4 portions of my daily fruit and veg, and it's got oily fish. And I am really resisting the temptation to add a great big dollop of mayonnaise on it. So I'm just going to eat it as it is, because I'm trying to retrain my taste buds to stop adding sauce and chutney and extra calories, and just trying to eat as simply and as well as I can. So one of my favourite brunch lunch ideas is sourdough toast with avocado and poached eggs. Now, I am rubbish at poached eggs, and believe me, I have tried over many years. I've done the salt in the water, I've done the vinegar in the water, I've done the swirling stuff, I've tried them in the microwave, I've had an actual egg poaching pan that really was just a step up from boiled eggs. But yeah, so I'm afraid it's just a couple of lightly fried eggs in the healthy oil on top, and it kind of tastes the same, although I would really have liked a poached egg on top, just to gently break it open and the yolk would run into the avocado. I've also cut down, so instead of 2 slices of sourdough, I've got 1.5, so I've got 3 half slices there. It is still white sourdough, but I am going to start playing around with my sourdough recipe and add in some wholemeal bread flour that I've got. So sourdough toast with a little bit of oil instead of butter, smashed up avocado, 2 lightly oiled fried eggs, and I am going to thoroughly enjoy this. So if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much. And genuinely, if you have got an easy way to make poached eggs, because believe me, I've tried all the chefy tricks, but if you've got a foolproof way of making a poached egg, leave your advice in the comments below, because I do like eggs. Eggs are healthy. Yes, I know they have cholesterol in them, but it's the good cholesterol, and like everything else, in moderation, they are absolutely fine. Someone once, ages ago, on a video, went on a huge rant about how I was promoting eating eggs, and eggs can kill you, and oh, it was hilarious. Delete. But yeah, if you've got a good way of poaching eggs, that would be great. So if you made it all the way to the very end, thank you so much. Have a fabulous Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I am looking out into my back garden and there is a beautiful tortoiseshell cat wandering around. So Miss Luna is about to spot it. So I better go and intervene. Have a lovely weekend and I will see you again on Monday. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.